If you want to go out here and find the best motivated sellers for wholesaling real estate with the power of Propstream, this is your video. If you want to know exactly my secret hacks and tools, and probably most importantly, especially right now, is my filters, you are in the right place. What I'm going to do today is really break down Propstream and how you can use the best filters possible to get the best data within Propstream. Now, I've talked about Propstream for a while, and it's probably one of my favorite softwares out here for getting real estate wholesaling, real estate investing, or any type of data for wholesaling houses, flipping, whatever you want to do, right? But I truly believe, and this is the thing that sucks for most of the time, is you guys don't know how to filter out the right data. Most of you guys will go and pull a list on Propstream, you hear from a guru, and you're like, oh, it don't work. I hear a lot of people, talk about, oh, direct mail doesn't work. And the funniest thing is, yeah, direct mail doesn't work if you are using a bad postcard. But I think one of the most important parts about direct mail is you could have the perfect postcard, but if your list sucks, like if you're not using the right filters, you're screwed. And so what I want to do is really open your eyes on exactly why you shouldn't be using 90% of the data on Propstream. It's a controversial statement to say, but it is true. 90% of the data you find on Propstream, they're trash, bad, don't use it. What you need to do is filter it down to a certain filtering where these are going to be the best chance of a wholesaling real estate deal. And if you slowly but surely can learn how to do it just like this, you're going to find some insane wholesaling real estate results. And so what I want to do right now is really share exactly how to do this within Propstream. These filters, if you're watching this and you're using Deal Machine, if you're using Batch, these filters should pretty much translate, I will say, but for everyone specifically using Propstream right now, this is exactly what you got to be doing. So let's talk about this. Let's break this all down, and let's share exactly how we can start doing it right now, absolutely for free. So FYI, everyone out here, if you want to know why I say this link, I think a lot of people get confused. I do have a link. It's called listrei.com. I'll put it right there. It's right there, listrei.com. It's the actual link to get Propstream 7 days for free. But let's kind of talk about exactly what are my filters, what's my opinions on Propstream, really real estate data in general, and really talking about this, and really talking about the things nobody else in wholesaling real estate ever talks about. So let's break this down from the beginning. So first and foremost, there's levels of motivation in the wholesaling real estate game. There's levels of motivation when it comes to pulling software data, especially using Propstream, listrei.com. And to understand the levels of motivation is going to be completely skewed in a way where, yeah, you might see someone talk about a list, but you don't understand exactly what it takes to get a deal from that list. And so let's kind of talk about from the least motivated all the way up to the most motivated type of list for wholesaling real estate. Now, number one, let's talk about the least motivated type of leads, right? These are going to be leads where, yeah, they're good for wholesaling, but when I tear them out, if I get one of those leads, they're the least likely to be a wholesaling real estate deal. And you're going to find that the harder it is to get the list, I've talked about this forever, and usually the more niched out the list is, the easier it is to get a deal from that list, right? And so let's kind of go from the top here. So number, 1 out of 3, I guess, from the bottom is your least motivated leads. The ones that you're going to have to do a lot of cold calling, a lot of texting, a lot of follow-up, and just a ton of marketing to get these type of deals. These are going to be high equity leads. These are going to be Zillow for sale by owners. These are going to be your expired listings, your pre-foreclosures. Yes, you can get wholesaling real estate deals from these type of leads. That is 100% true. That is a fact. But what I will tell you is you are going to have to sift through a stupid amount of leads and data to get a deal from these. Now, I am talking crap about high equity. Even though high equity is my number one list to get wholesaling deals, I'm going to explain a little further exactly how I don't really do high equity anymore. I kind of do a hybrid approach of high equity that actually gets wholesaling real estate deals, and we'll explain that. But if you just do a 60% equity list in San Antonio, you're done. Like, unless you're dropping 7, 8 grand a month, you have no shot doing this. And I think this is the biggest problem I see a lot of wholesalers have is, yeah, you can make money with these lists, but you're going to have to sift through a lot. Same thing with pre-foreclosures. Like, it's a great list for drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars, right? But, you know, if you have to actually go out here and text all those leads, you're better off doing a better motivated list. And so the next type of more motivated, you still have to do a lot of marketing for these, but you can still make a ton of money. This is going to be the vacants, tired landlords, tax liens, tax delinquencies. Now, we're using listerari.com, we're using Propstream here, right? So there's a push and a pull here. I will let everyone know this. Because we're only using Propstream, like a data provider in this platform for this video, anyone and their mom can go to listerari.com, get a 7-day free trial and use it, right? You can use ZachData.com, you can use DMZach.com, you can use whatever data, right? So inherently, these leads are going to be less motivated than something of a drawing for dollars, or you have to earn it, right? Because it's not secret, right? Anyone can get this. Now, there are some secrets on the filtering, how to do that, and that's great and good. But one thing I will tell you is vacants, tired landlords, tax liens, tax delinquencies are not going to be as good as some of the top tier lists. Now, let's use one specific example here, right? Let's talk about tired landlords. Tired landlords, you pull the list on Propstream, it's great, right? Now, tired landlords is really going to be a list of someone that's owned a rental property for a while. Maybe the person is older, there's a good amount of equity in the deal. They're not exactly a tired landlord per se. They're most likely a landlord that's owned a rental property for a while, and they theoretically should be tired of doing that. Now, if I want to get a top tier list, right? So spoiler alert, one of the top tier lists are going to be evictions. Now, the reason why evictions is such a top tier amazing list for wholesaling real estate is, first of all, you just can't go to Propstream, pull evictions list. No software has this. They should. I've been pushing them to do it for a while now, but it's a top tier list right now. And what you got to do is go to the government, get the list, and these are people that are evicting tenants out of properties. They are literally paying lawyers a ton of money to evict a tenant. They are the most motivated type of person. Now, that's just the difference between the two, right? Tax liens, love them. I love tax delinquencies too. But they're just not as motivated, right? Vacants, I used to put them on top tier, but like everyone and their mom is just pulling it now. So it's like, it's getting out of that level, right? Now, we go back in here to the most motivated. These are going to be smaller lists, but they are ones I highly recommend, and we can actually use some of these in Propstream. So that's the point. That is what I'm talking to you today about, is we can actually use Propstream, kind of hack Propstream and get the best results possible. Now, the most motivated ones with the smaller lists, again, are going to be number one, government lists. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. I've talked about government lists forever. These gurus drive me nuts every single time. But government lists are the way. This is the best way to do it. No, you don't need to use Propstream for this, obviously, and this isn't a hack for it. But even if you have Propstream, you got to do some government lists here. Probates are great. You know, Propstream's had the pre-probates for a while. I like the list. I don't think it's going to be a top tier one. You know, I think it's not bad. It's not one to avoid, but I'd rather just pull the probates for now. And then the next part here we're talking about are going to be these stacked lists. These are going to be multiple motivating factors. And so if we go back here, you know, we look at pre-foreclosures. Why don't we do this, right? Why don't we find, for example, a vacant that's also a pre-foreclosure? Think about that for a second. If it's a vacant property and it's also a pre-foreclosure, that is a stacked list. These are lists that are stacked on top of each other. So a vacant property that is also behind on their mortgage payments, that's a stacked list. And so we added two okay things and made it better, right? It's just like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, you have a jelly sandwich, okay. Have a peanut butter sandwich, okay. But you add them together, it's amazing, right? And that's kind of the point here we're talking about, right? It's literally like having dry cereal or just having a glass of milk, but pouring it together, ooh, top tier, right? So stacking your lists, really important here for wholesaling real estate, especially using Propstream. This is going to be really important for you. So I'll tell you guys, it drives me crazy. So like one thing I would tell you here, all right, I get comments like this all the time, and this is the funniest one. It's like, the info on Propstream is not really accurate anymore. Insert whatever software you want. I always get this is not very accurate anymore. I would love to see data from you because I use data myself. I use data from all these people here watching. Propstream is still to this day the best data if you're going to look at pulling a direct mail list. Now, ZachData.com is pretty much the same. So I'll put them tiers together, but like, is it you? Is it the skip tracing? Like, you got to look at the data. I get this all the time, but no, Propstream is amazing. Now, can I do the same thing with Deal Machine? Of course you can. Deal Machine's got great data too. But I'll tell you, you can do both of these. And so the most motivated type of small list is going to be your government list, your probates, and your stacked lists. Now, I'm going to tell you a very important thing when using software. Every single $50,000 wholesaling real estate deal you're going to do. Okay, like I swear to you, every single one, not just one, not just two, not just three, but every single $50,000 deal, if it's wholesaling, no creative finance, anything like that, they are all going to be on the high equity list. Now, think about that for a second. Let that simmer in your mind. But just just really have a thought about this for a second. And we're going to get into Propstream. We're going to pull lists and everything like that right now. But why is this? Because to get a lot of money in wholesaling real estate, you have to have equity. Like, seriously. And what I mean by this is if somebody has a house and it's worth $300,000 and they owe 270 grand, the least that person is going to take is 270 grand and they're going to net zero. There's no way I can make 50 grand on that deal. And so if I divide 30 by 300, that's 10% equity. It ain't a deal, right? Now, if you pull a 50% equity list, consider that high equity, you will find that pretty much every single deal on there, there's a possible way to make 50 grand. But a low equity list, you can't make the big money. And so what I'm trying to explain to you guys is high equity should be a filter for every single list you pull. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by this. I know I sound crazy, but a lot of people don't put equity in their deals, and every single deal that's going to be big and nice is going to have high equity in it. So this is really important. So let's talk about this and let's get it going. But really, let's kind of talk about pulling a high equity list. If you go to like East Pennsylvania, Philadelphia region, right? You're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to go pull a high equity, all the high equities in the area, and cold call 40,000 leads yourself in a month, which is very expensive to do? Or are you going to pay $4,000 a month for VAs to do that? Or are you going to spend what, 20, 18, 17 grand a month in direct mail? Like, for most people, that is unrealistic. And so if you're going to do every high equity in your market, it ain't going to work. And that's the guru issue, right? They'll tell you to pull equity, but it's like, it's going to cost me 10 grand. It's fine. Got to spend money make money. Rah, rah. It drives me crazy. But like, so you have this issue. It's like, yeah, high equity I know is the best, but I can't go spend all this money doing it, or it's going to take me too much time. How do I get the best of both worlds? Well, let me explain exactly inside of Propstream how to do this the right way that really me and Rick have been doing forever. Ever since Propstream's been a thing, we used to use before Propstream, we used to use ListSource about, I'd probably say six years ago-ish. And we kind of transferred over about 4 years ago. And the reason was, I was like, I want to try this out. Everyone's been talking about it. I started getting good results from it. So let's get into Propstream here and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So let's go here, guys. Let me know in the comments. All right, where are we going here? All right. So guys, let me know in the comments, like straight up right now, what market are you in? And I'll go pull a high equity list and show you exactly the problem we have and how to reverse this issue. So we got a lot of counties here. There's a lot of things inside of Propstream you're going to be really confused about, but we basically got all the data in the United States for getting property data. So let's see here. We got Derek in Houston. Let's do Houston, Texas here, okay? So if I go out here and I search Houston, Texas, come on, where are you? There we go. Houston, Texas. And let's say I do it the way my guru taught me to do it, right? My guru taught me to go out here and do a regular high equity list and go from there. So let's do this. All right. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to filter, I'm just gonna click high equity, and boom. We have 744,000 high equities in Harris County. Should I do that? Is that what we should be doing, right? That's like, I know every big deal is gonna have this on here, but like, what do I do? It's a mess, right? And so that is the main issue we have here, right? If we did, for example, let's see what other city we got. Okay, Ohio's a little crazy. Let's do kind of in general. Let's do, what's a good one? Let's do, what's a good one? Let's do Oklahoma City. All right, Oklahoma City is not crazy big, but still, if I just did a high equity filter on Oklahoma City, let's pop it up here, see what we get. You're gonna get a lot. Like, you're gonna get a stupid amount. All right, let's see here, let's refresh. Oklahoma City, I go here, I filter it out, I go to high equity, boom, 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 and it's 172,000. Like, that's the problem. It's like, are you gonna cold call 172,000 leads? It drives me crazy. No, of course you're not gonna do that, right? I mean, unless you got the cash for it, you know, it's stupid, right? So what we're gonna do instead is this secret filtering, all right? And the secret filtering is what I got on the bottom here, right? It's stacked high equity with an X factor in a hot zip code where your buyer wants to buy. Let me make this very, very clear for everybody watching this, okay? You need to be finding where your cash buyers want to be buying. Don't be guessing it. I think they want, no. You have to find it. This is really important. And so, yes, we can get high equities. We want to find a certain X factor with that, right? Is this going to be a good market? Is this going to be a good area? Do they have a certain extra filter on top of this? And then boom, on top of that, we find zip codes that work really well. Finding the best lists, right? So if I want to go out here and let's just go out here. Let's see. All right, let me pop this up here. All right, so let's use this for example right here. All right, good. All right, let's share it right here what I mean by this. And so let's say, for example, that we want to filter this out. So what I'm gonna do is take out of here, go back into Oklahoma City. Let's remove my filter out of here. And what I want, actually no, add the high equity on back. Okay, perfect. And then what I'm gonna do here is just copy some zip codes. So what I'm gonna do here is just do what zip code is this? 73001. All right, so like, let's just say I wanna do that, for example. That filters it down to 15,000. And so that's just the zip code I've done wholesaling deals in, right? So like, I'm not even going crazy with it, right? But boom, easy as that. And so I see a lot of wholesalers get super confused of exactly how to filter it down. Now we gotta put an X factor on here. What's the X factor? The X factor is the best filters possible. So let's kind of break down exactly the best filters possible right now in wholesaling real estate so we can actually get some good deals. So what are the best filters? This is really important. So I don't care if you're pulling a tax lien list. I don't care if you're pulling a tax delinquency list. I don't care if you're pulling the stupid MLS list, even though you really shouldn't be doing that. Whatever type of list possible, and I want to make this extremely clear, whatever type of list possible you pull inside Propstream, any software, they have to go through these certain filters. Now, I see a lot of people say, oh, do this type and then this type, and then you go, it's way too crazy to me. And personally, I'm not a fan of it. So what I'm gonna tell you is every single good deal in wholesaling real estate, especially when you're pulling a software type thing, are gonna have these filters. And these are always filters I look. So copy it below, whatever you want. Let me put in the comment section for everyone too, so we see that. Let me put in the comment section for everyone. But these are the super important filters, okay? Filter number 1, 3 to 5 years. We wanna make sure that the property owner has owned the property for at least 3 to 5 years. The reason behind this is you're less motivated to sell the property if you've owned it for 1 to 2 years, and you're less likely to give it out for a discount. Just being honest. Statistically, when I look at all the wholesaling deals I've done, over 2,000, most deals are in this criteria. Now, I've done MLS deals, obviously. I've done some of these that do not fit the criteria, but it is very important. So 3 to 5 years, property's been owned for. I would say on top of this too, you want to hit at least 55% equity. Think about that for a second. Not 50, not 40, not 45, 55% equity. And this is pulling a list, right? These aren't government lists or anything like that, right? I would say roughly about 55% equity. And then make sure that the homeowner owns less than 3 houses. You do not want somebody who's owning 4 or 5 houses. These are the corporate people. You're wasting your money and time with those type of sellers. Now, I've done really good wholesaling deals with sellers that own 7, 8, 9, 10 houses, but they're very advanced and they require a lot of proof of funds. There's a lot of meeting, and then they don't really give the best deals out. So I would avoid them owning more than 3, Now, if you're more advanced, maybe do 5 or 7. Now, the flip side for finding cash buyers, you can do it the other way around, but really less than 3, you're good to go. And then from there, individual or trust homes are good to go. So I see a lot of people tell me online that, Zach, you don't want to go after properties with trusts. And what I can tell you is no, you are lying to yourself. There are a lot of really good wholesaling real estate deals out here that are owned under trusts. Because there's a lot, I mean, I'm in Florida, so we got a lot of old people. And a lot of old people put their homes in trusts for the future. Just being honest, that's what they do. And so it's not a bad thing if your property is put underneath a trust. It's not a terrible thing to happen. Now, a lot of people think trusts is like trust fund babies, and no, like older people do it all the time. So it's really not that big of a deal, and I wouldn't be too worried about that if the property is owned underneath a trust. So you should be fine here. So individual or trust owned, you're good to go. Now, the last filter here, and probably one of the most important ones here, is you want to make sure that the value of the property is a little more or less of the median home price. I know that's confusing to say, so let me share with you a screen share here just so you understand this. Let's pop it up. Median home price, Oklahoma City. Oh, where are you? Okay, there we go. So if you look here, Oklahoma City, the average median home price in Oklahoma City is $198,000. So when I go find a list in Oklahoma City right here, what I'm gonna wanna do is make sure that the property, like all the properties in my list are gonna be, let's do 230, 240 or below. That's it. Now, my only exception to this rule is, let's say you do a bunch of deals at 270, 280, 300K in Oklahoma City, then sure, supersede that, right? Precedent that you've had on deals before should supersede what I say sometimes, not all the time, but you just kind of understand that. But like, if you look at my deals in like where I'm at in Florida, I rarely do deals that the price is over $500,000. Just the higher the price doesn't work. And so median home price differs. Just do median home price space city wherever you live, and it should give you that data pretty easily. But I wouldn't be too surprised there. And so inside of Propstream that we're using here, you got to follow these filters. And so let's repeat these filters one last time. We don't screw this up. We don't get this confused. What are the filters? Again, we will make sure that they own the property for at least 3 to 5 years. I would say 5 years if you need to filter out more, and then 3 years you filter out less. And then just make sure, I'll show you inside of Propstream how to do it. We're going to try to get at least 55% equity, push it up to 60 if we have to. No MLS, no on market. It's not who I am. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Make sure that they own more than 3 properties, individual or trusts, value less than a little more than median home price. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much saying that, but that's what it is. Now, on top of this too, we want to avoid MLS properties. We want to avoid low equity deals. We want to, so low equity is, equity is a percentage of the value of the home versus how much is owed. So low equity, in my opinion, is going to be that deal that is worth 300 and they owe 270. That's about 10% equity, right? Now, if they owed 100, that's going to be 2/3, right? So 2 divided by 3, 67% equity. That's high. And so you just can't get a good deal on low equity. Now, if you're doing subject to, you're going to try to create a financing terms, right? Seller finance, you're fine. That's good, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about wholesaling real estate right now, right? Avoid properties that have been recently bought. And most importantly, avoid general filters. What's a general filter again? Literally this I love Propstream, but I'm telling you, their general filters, I just think they're too basic. Now, they're basic on purpose because duh. But like, you want to get it down. So what I mean by this is, if I go to like a tax delinquency list, people click that and then they filter it out, right? You don't want to do 1,000. You want to filter that out because 200 of these leads, you could probably just throw off instantly out of there. And so, yeah, go do that and you're good to go. Now, Propstream has some really cool tools that I used to talk about a little more. They don't make any sense for me anymore. I'm just being honest for you, because just the market in wholesaling real estate has changed drastically from when I did YouTube, 4 years ago. So for example here, get rid of the filtering here. A lot of people used to say we could do this, right? Oops, no, right here. How do I make this? Collapse? I think I used to be able to collapse it right here. There we go. So this is the satellite view of Oklahoma City properties, right? So what you can do is you go to analytics here, and people used to say this, and I just tell you what it is. I'm not telling you what to do, but Propstream is available for this. Go here. You can go to estimated values. Now, price growth is interesting. When I look at rental values, it's pretty good. So let's say for the past 3 years, this hot map pops up and people are like, oh my gosh, it's not as crazy. You got a regular map here, which helps too a lot, but really right here, it's gonna show you. Get this. All right, let's go here. All right, so we can see here on the analytics tab that red is gonna be hotter growth and then blue is gonna be less growth. Now, this is like metro areas. So like if I go out here in the burbs, you can see that this area is really hot for price growth. You kind of out here, this area is hot. This one's less hot for price growth. Let's see here. And a lot of people used to think, okay, like you kind of see the statistics here, right? This is by the downtown area. Of course, it's going to have the biggest price growth. And then like right here, people are like, oh yeah, this is where I got a wholesale. What I found is a correlation. It doesn't mean causation for a lot of things. I can go to rental values. What's the rent prices? You'll see that rent prices are more expensive in those areas. This is the most expensive area for rent. This is probably the most like bougie part of the area. And this is good for general, just looking at like property values. So I know exactly where the most expensive parts in the city are and where they're not. You see right here, boom, 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 boom. Easy. These are the cheaper areas. Now, a lot of people used to think, okay, cheap areas, I can go buyers, expensive areas, buyers. It's not a good correlation. It's really not. Now, price per square foot, you're gonna be, I mean, Oklahoma City is just generally low right there. So not really big red areas. So we really can't get some data from there. But that's how you used to do it with the data that they use. Now, I'm gonna tell you that's not the best way to do it anymore. The best way now to figure out exactly where your cash buyers wanna buy and the best areas cash buyers buy are asking them. Lordy, I don't understand this. I cannot stress this enough. But stop guessing where your cash buyers went to buy. Stop doing it. I cannot stress this enough. Stop trying to go out here and guess where your cash buyers want to be buying real estate deals at. You got to ask them. And, let's give a shout out to our the wives and girlfriends out here watching this. What I could tell you is, if you're a husband or a boyfriend, you probably understand what I mean, or if you have a sister, like me, and you say, hey, you know what? Let me take you out to dinner. Let's go grab a bite to eat. And they're like, or if you have a mom, shout out to my mom. Oh yeah, I'd love to go. Okay. And I say, where do you want to eat? And they're like, I don't know. It's like guessing. Have you ever tried to guess your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, where they want to eat for the day? You ain't gonna get it right. I promise you that. Okay. How do you figure? You ask them. Now, most of them are gonna say, oh, I don't know. You pick. And then you say, okay, let's eat pizza. And they're like, not pizza. I'm like, okay, what about tacos? No, not taco. I'm like, sushi? Yeah, let's do sushi. That's what they want. Now, sidebar there, that's just how you figure out in general. It's Zach's life tip for the day, obviously. But whatever you ask them for the day, it changes, and then tomorrow's tacos, right? And I'm not saying this to be mean or like, I'm just being honest. Like that's how it works. And I'm not saying that generally for everyone, but for that's my experience in life. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But what I mean by this is like, it's like asking your cash buyers where they want to buy. You can't go guess in your mind where they want to buy. You just got to ask them. And sometimes you got to play a little game with it. I don't know where, I'll just buy anything in general. So I have buyers actually ask me that, right? I'll buy anywhere in Oklahoma City. It's like, really? And so what I used to do in like some areas, I'm like, okay, will you buy in the ghetto? And they're like, what do you mean ghetto? I'm like, this street, this street, this street. And they're like, well, there was 6 life-ending situation. I can't say the word on YouTube, right? You kind of get what I'm saying, right? Little Michael Myers action going on in the area. And they're like, no, I would never buy there. I'm like, so you don't buy anywhere in the city? And they're like, no, I don't. I actually buy in this area, this area, this area. And another question you can ask your cash buyers is like, okay, where on this map do you buy? And I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, can you tell me the zip codes of the rental properties you currently own? And they're like, yeah, of course. And boom, boom, boom. And so let me show you exactly, like really quick before I get into finding lists, because to find lists, first and foremost, you're going to have to figure out exactly where your buyers want to buy. And so one really cool hack here is let's clear all the filters. Let's go to Oklahoma City and let's go and filter and find cash buyers. And so let me go to cash buyers, cash buyers. And this is just really just for show, honestly. I'm gonna go here to ownership information and just find people that own more than 10 rental properties, okay? And then we got all these people coming up. So let's do this one. Pull this up right here. So why is this, there we go. So VM Master LLC, right? So I don't know, they might be a hedge fund, who knows? What I'm gonna do is just go to linked properties and pretty much any and so they have about $648 million in real estate. That's just a little too much. So let's filter this back out. Let's do it. They own at least 3 rentals, but they don't own more than 15, right? I don't want the hedge funds that own $30 million, maybe 300 million, right? They're a little too big. So like you want mom and pop ones. So like kind of like me, like I don't own $300 million in real estate. I want to, someday I do. I'll be honest with you. Someday I want them, but remember, I don't have debt on my property, so I don't have 300 million in equity in my rentals. Now, that might shock you. Maybe I got a good timeline to hit that number, and I really do want to hit that 300 million net worth number. That'd be great. But currently, I don't have right now. So, but mine is, I have millions and millions and millions of dollars equity in rental property. So you can find someone like me there. And so let's use this person, right? It's pretty cool. JNL Home Solutions. Now, I don't know who that is. They're probably an Oklahoma rental person, right? Looks like they bought, look at this. This person bought this house for cash. Interesting. And they put it on the, so this person bought it for, it looks like he bought it for 38 and he listed it for 145. So this might be a wholesaler, who knows? But I go here to linked properties, and this person owns 4 properties in Oklahoma. He owns in the 73015, 73169. So these are all different zip codes, but this guy owns like 350, 400 grand in equity. It's not bad at all. So I don't get too much data from this one. Let's go to this guy. This guy owns 10 rentals, okay? Now this is cool too, because you could see a lot of these rentals are in the 73118 area code. See, I just see them all over the board for this guy, but 73430 is another one he has some rentals on, right? He has $3.3 million in equity. So a cash buyer like this, I can put him inside of listri.com here. Any other all these softwares do this now too. And you can not just guess, but get some data on where they own their rentals and be like, okay, this is areas where I can reach out to this cash buyer. That's why I say it's not, so if I have a deal in Oklahoma City, this guy owns 10 rentals, and I can go to the ownership. He owned this one for 20 years. He's owned this for 8 months, 9 months. He's actively buying properties. This is a guy, I go here to property details, Oaken Properties, boom, reach out to him. Simple, boom, easy. So that's a cash buyer I can reach out to. This is why real estate wholesaling cash buyer wise is the easiest it's ever been, by far. Easiest it's ever been. Simple, stupid, easy, simple. Do it. So let's go pull some lists here and show you exactly how you do it. So let's use my old filtering lists. Let's pop it up here. So let's just do a general let's say Zach Ginn's doing a big direct mail campaign here. All right. Let's use Zach Ginn budgets. Let's don't use Guru budgets. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is go to Oklahoma City. Now, personally, I'd probably take out 4 or 5 zip codes out of this in Oklahoma City that I just know aren't going to be good for wholesaling, but let's just do a general one, okay? Let's do this. Filter, we're going to go owner occupied, right? You can do all this stuff, right? So what I'm going to do is property characteristics. Now, this isn't a general rule, so you can do whatever you want. Now, if I'm just virtually wholesaling here, I'm going to do single family, multifamily, and I'm going to avoid condo and townhomes right now. Next here, MLS. Make sure the property is not on the MLS. Then we're gonna go here. No, okay, ownership. We won't, let's see if they wanna own it for at minimum 5 years. Owner type, individual, and then trust. Make sure that they own at max, let's do 4 properties. And then the other info I don't really care about. It doesn't really matter about that. Estimated value, nothing above 230,000 people. Sorry, $230,000. And let's do equity. Let's do at least 55%. And see if I'm missing something here. So you can include unknown equity or not. It used to be a hot list. I don't really see that too much now. And then boom, that 100,000 plus, right? It was like 177,000, gets whittled down into what? 29,000. It's not bad. If I'm doing a big cold calling like attack, what I would personally do here is like if I want to maximize my dollar, what I'm going to do is probably hire 4 VAs and maybe 3 or 4 VAs. I'm going to use Zach Dialer, which is batchdialer.com, right? And I'm going to pull this information. I'm most likely going to skip trace it inside of dmzach.com because it's unlimited for $100. It's really good data. And then from there, we're going to have the VAs just cold call. And for 29,000 leads, let's kind of do the math here. Let's say they can do 90. So 90 an hour. Let's do 6 hours a day, 4 VAs, 216 a day. That should be through it should be hit that in the month, hopefully. Triple line dialer, that should be good. I got the skip tracing paid for. If I have 7, right, let's do 6 hours of cold calling time times 4, 24 hours a day. 25 cold calling hours, 600. I pay them $7 an hour. This whole list should be $4,500 in and out, $4,500, and I can do the entire thing. And that's going to be the most like money and time efficient way to do really, really well with that like big fat list. I could also spend probably 15, 18, 20 grand on direct mail, but that's going to be that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie, 15 grand in direct mail is not going to be terrible either. I use ROS postcards, which are from mailingmastery.com, which is my free direct mail course. That was for the big boys. But I'll tell you is going out here and doing something like that, 29,000. Oh, you don't even see it here. My bad. Right here, 29,247 is the list here. So not terrible, not bad at all. That's what I would do. Now, you're probably like, Zach, you are literally on crack right now. I'm not spending $4,500. I get it. So let's filter this down a little more. Now we got to add that X factor, right? We got to add that X factor. So let's just do vacants, right? If I'm virtually wholesaling, I think vacants are going to be a really good one too. So all I have to do is click this little vacant tab and it's going to bring me 694 properties. Boom. See, sorry guys. Cell phone right there. All right, easy. Hopefully it's a little smaller. Hopefully you guys can still read it. But right here is going to be 694. So if I'm cold calling individually by myself, good to go. Now, if I have a dialer, I need a little more. Okay, I need a little more leads. So let's get rid of this and let's add, what can we add here? Vacants are good. I'm going to add some liens on here. So add 296 to the 694 plus 296. Okay, let's add some extra ones here. Let's go to tax delinquencies. I like that. 5,000. Jeez Louise, that's a large number. It's a little too big right now. We got to filter that one down. Let's do tired landlords too. It's about 3,000. That's a good amount right there. So honestly, I would add the 3,000 and then the tax delinquency. That's about 4,000. Let's just keep it at 4,000. That's a lot for one person to cold call in a month. If they're not using a dialer, if they're using a dialer, we could probably make that work pretty well. Let's just do the tired. I like tired landlords right now too. Now, if you have tired landlords, let's pad vacant. These are they're all gonna be vacant. Yeah. All right. 3,273. Let's say we want to get this a little smaller. What can we do here? What I'm gonna do is do single family ownership information. They only own 2 properties at the most. So this is a guy that only has 1 rental. Okay, only 1 rent. Let's do 3. Let's pop the equity up to 60. That does literally nothing to me. And let's add ownership to 7 years. That literally did nothing. Okay, and they own it individually. I don't want to do corporate right now on this, and just keep it to residential. It didn't really change anything. So if I have to filter this under 2,000, I'm just gonna do 60% equity is the best we're gonna get. Let's just do 200. Jeez. Okay. Let's do. How do I filter this down now? We're gonna have to add the. I'll probably put out of state. That's 200. That's way too small. But that's a good one. These are tired landlords that live out of state. It's another great list. It's a W list right there. Drives me crazy. Oh. Love it. Here. And that's just a general smaller list. It ain't terrible, but like that's how you get the really good data here on Propstream. It's not as bad as you guys make it seem to pull a list like this. Now, where's some other good lists I'd tell you? I love the zombie properties list too. And so let's kind of clear all of our data here. Let's go here to Houston, Texas. Let's go to zombie property. So you might ask, what's a zombie properties list? A zombie's property list is basically a vacant pre-foreclosure. And what I mean by this is it's foreclosure where the person decide, hey, you know what? I have no equity in this deal. I'm just walking away. And the pre-foreclosure just left. And it's kind of a marketing term, but it's a zombie property. I'd be very, very hesitant to call it that, but like honestly, they're vacant pre-foreclosures. Like they're the most motivated you can get. There's only 16 in Houston. It's a hard list to pull, but Oklahoma City has 36. It's not really a big one, so I just be careful with that. But honestly, Propstream works, guys. It's one of the best lists to be. It's one of the best softwares to be using. It's one of the best ways to find wholesaling real estate deals. You just don't want to go out here and click tax delinquency and just pop it up, right? You want to use those filters that I have. And they'll actually lead you to finding these wholesaling real estate deals and actually doing the best way possible for success. So if you want to try out Propstream, 7-day free trial, go to listrei.com and go there, try it out for 7 days. It's still, if I'm pulling a direct mail list, a big fat list. I would use Propstream.